Hello there, welcome to another episode of VG55. I'm your host, Bara Abdallah. In this episode, we're going to talk about a musical team that does music for video games with Michael and Phillips in the team of Sound of Games. So, let's check it out. With more than 250 million listeners every month, Sound of Games is a global leader of premium music. Since their founding in 2010, they are always present in the top 100 of Apple's App Store and Google Play Store.
And then another show in front of thousands of people ends up with a final applause. But this is not the end of the evening. The press wants to have interviews, and then the concert is followed up by a signing session that sometimes takes longer than 1 hour.
Now that was my introduction. Let's have their introduction.
I'm Philip.
And I'm Michael.
And we are Sound of Games.
We are very happy to be here with you guys at VG55.
Yes, friends, I am Philip from Sound of Games, and since I was a very small boy, like 4 or 5 years old, I was on stage entertaining people, so that's in my DNA, that's in my blood. I love to entertain people with music. But you know, when you grow up, you love to play video games, and this is like video games, music, come on. So later on I met Michael in my life, and we had a great passion that we share for video games music, and we thought, how great would it be if we put all our passion together to produce and to compose the greatest game music of all time. I mean, Mozart didn't do game music, Beethoven didn't do game music, and we are Germans too. So it was obvious we have to do the greatest game music of all times. And this is what Sound of Games stands for. So Michael and Philip, perfect match for the finest game music all over the world and maybe in the universe.
I'm Michael from Sound of Games, and when I was a little kid, my grandpa gave me a violin, and this is how it started. I could not stop playing, and suddenly I sat in an orchestra as a small boy, and I played all the great artists like Handel, Beethoven and Bach. And later on, when there were video games, I was like, how great is this? There's also music in those games. And this is when the idea came up, I want to be a composer for those video games. So this is how it started, and later when I met Philip, it was like bam, this is exactly what we wanted to do, and our vision was we just wanted to do the biggest, greatest game music all over the world.
So friends, I already talked about our big passion for premium game music, and of course, when you follow your dreams with passion and love, everything will happen in your life, and believe me, it also happened with us. We did big orchestra productions for famous titles like War of the Worlds from Paramount, Star Trek, and as you might all know, Clash of Kings. And how this looks like, you will see now.
Thank you very much, guys, for the introduction. And now, let's check out some of their work, starting with Crazy Hedgie. Beautiful work, guys! Now let's check out with the game Wings.
Kannst du bitte nochmal auf der 12 das Ganze wiederholen? Danke.
Man, that was something else, but we won't stop here. Now, checking out some of their other amazing work with Agent Alice.
Skopje, the capital of Macedonia. This is where the big orchestra recording session for Agent Alice will take place. Hi, we are Philip and Michael from Sound of Games. We have composed music for video games such as Vuga's Pulse Peril, Star Trek, The War of the Worlds and many more. This is the night before our big orchestra recording session. We are here to visit places that give us the last inspirations of the paranormal crime scenes of Agent Alice. The next morning in the studio, we nearly have 1000 pages of sheet music for 58 musicians. The conductor and me are going through the details of every piece that we have written over the last weeks, while the musicians take their seats and the last preparations are being made. And then the recording starts.
Ok, do 4 odi i posle odi po diminuendo. Ovo je samo diminuendo, accentuirano. Ok? Produci dalje.
These guys are just beautiful. They're over 9,000 with it. So let's have a short documentary about Michael and Philip.
There's simply no breaks for us. After traveling, we arrive at the venue in the morning and the technicians are already there to set up the stage for us. The techniques, all our instruments, the orchestra microphones and the lights, of course. Then we can go backstage into our wardrobe while the orchestra is practicing and doing rehearsals for the evening. And finally, while the last guests are taking their seats in the venue, we are already backstage waiting for the big moment to come up. And then the show starts.
Ladies and gentlemen, with millions of gamers listening to their music each and every day, #1 in premium game music, please welcome and put your hands together for Sound of Games!
And then another show in front of thousands of people ends up with a final applause. But this is not the end of the evening. The press wants to have interviews, and then the concert is followed up by a signing session that sometimes takes longer than 1 hour.
Man, I'm a big fan of these guys. I really am. But won't stop here because they actually did the music for the game Clash of Kings. Yes, they did. Check it out.
Hello, we are Philip and Michael from Sound of Games, the global market leader in premium game music. Today we will show you the creative process for developing premium game music for Clash of Kings. The creative process for our premium game music always starts in real environments, all over the world. Here we are getting deeper inspiration. Right now we are in the castle, one of the main locations of Clash of Kings. Here we get more inspiration from the authentic setting. Ja, Micha, wir sind jetzt mitten im Spiel bei Clash of Kings, mitten im Castle. Und natürlich sollen auch jeder Spieler, genau wie wir, sofort im ersten Moment den Eindruck haben, dass er hier drin ist. Hast du da schon dir Gedanken gemacht für einen musikalischen Ansatz?
Ja.
Wie wir den hier reinbringen?
When Philip and I start on a new composition, we take our time to discuss all the aspects of the game, the setting, gameplay, and so on. That's when we develop and write down the very first ideas.
And this is the battlefield where the action takes place from the very first seconds. Here the lords are fighting for kingdom in Clash of Kings.
Clash of Kings, the battlefield. How does it sound when the enemy's armies come to conquer your castle? We are collecting all of our ideas before we go to our studio where we finally start the music production. This is the place where we record all of our ideas and share them with the game developer. We finalize our melodies, arrange the instruments and make decisions about the final recording of the music.
When all the work in and outside the studio is done, we are preparing the real orchestra production to create another masterpiece with the best musicians in the world.
We travel to our friends in Macedonia, the famous orchestra. We've been working with them for many years and it's always a big pleasure to record with those experienced people. Oleg, the conductor, and I are going through the details of the score and discuss how the instruments should be played and recorded. And then finally the moment has come. The work of the last couple of months is played by the orchestra. Back in Hamburg, we go to the studio to mix and optimize the music and prepare it for the implementation into the game. A couple of weeks later, more than 100 million players all over the world will hear it in Clash of Kings.
Man, this brings a smile on my face. They work so hard to bring you the best music and video games. So guys, as you can see, they've been traveling a lot. So here's a short clip about their traveling.
In the history of music, the world's greatest artists used to travel the world to find new inspiration for their upcoming compositions. We step into this tradition and we visit the places on our planet that give us the inspiration and the right mood for our projects. Last week, we've been to Spain to visit a magical garden and the mountains to get a feeling for the setting of an upcoming new game. In the past, we've been to lots of places to get deeply into the right mood of our game projects. We've been to South Africa on a game drive to see all the wild animals. We were flying around the Cape of Good Hope to see the larger picture. We went on the cold and snowy mountains of Austria and Switzerland, and we took a boat in the summer heat on the Chao Phraya River in Bangkok. We swam in the highest infinity pool of the world in Singapore and hiked through the jungle of Malaysia. We played a round of golf in the world's best-known golf course in Scotland, and we were freezing in the winter of Finland. We had parties in Ibiza, made a road trip of thousands of miles in New Zealand, and we drove the famous Road 1 in California. And of course, we met Bara from VG55 in Dubai. So what will be next? We want to visit our friends in China, because we already made games for a Chinese market which are played by millions of people.
Man, I am so honored and privileged to actually meet these amazing personalities back there in Dubai. So guys, in a few moments only, don't go away. We're gonna have a fun interview with them themselves, Michael and Phillips from the Sound of Games. Stay tuned. Well, guys, welcome back. And now it is time to have a phone call with the legendary members of Sound of Games. So, let it ring. Ringing. Calling all the way to Germany right now. Super excited.
Hello, this is Michael from Sound of Games.
Hey, guys, what up? What's going on? What's happening?
Hey, Laura, how you doing?
Good.
Nice to hear from you.
Likewise.
Hello, Bara. Nice to meet you.
Hey, guys. First of all, thank you so much for accepting our phone call. So now, to the interview. So, guys, what inspired you to form the Sound of Games team?
Since ever, we loved music and entertainment and, of course, games. So there was nothing better for us to combine both of it.
Okay.
So creating music for games is like the ideal thing that we have in our life.
Amazing, man, amazing. So, when it comes to video games music, what is your favorite video game?
You know, Laura, at the moment it's Honor of Kings. And this is because the famous film composer Hans Zimmer, he did the music for it. And of course, he took the best orchestra and recorded it at Abbey Road Studios in London.
True.
So this is, of course, something, some step in quality that we also like to do.
Amazing.
So this is a game that's one of my favorites at the moment.
Awesome, man, awesome. So, what games do you wish to produce music for?
Well, that's a good question. And one of our biggest wishes already came true, as we like mobile games, big mobile games, to reach out to the whole audience and players in the world.
Okay.
We did Clash of Kings, and
Clash
that was like
of Kings.
something that we ever dreamed of, to make a title like Clash of Kings. And of course, we are very focused on the mobile gaming experience, because you can play these games everywhere, even with small sessions like 10 minutes or a little longer. And so, yeah, for big, nice mobile titles that people love, and there is a lot of, great story and made with love and passion. That's what we are and want to go to.
Awesome, man, awesome. So, can you share any challenging moments you faced in your career?
You know, in the beginning of video games, people were sitting on their console or played on their home computer. But nowadays, people like to play mobile. So they have their smartphone, they have their tablet, and they move around with it. And but at the same time, it might be that they play the same game at home on their computer. So our challenge nowadays is that we have to make the music to sound cool on every device. So at home, you might have a 5.1 surround, something big stereo that smashes the whole building when it plays, you know. And when you're on the road, you have your smartphone with these tiny, tiny speakers.
Small speakers.
And our goal is, of course, to make the music highest quality wherever you listen to it. So may it be headphones, may it be your home computer, may it be your tablet. We have to put this music in a mood that fits every moment wherever you play. And of course, another challenge nowadays is that the games are very dynamic, so the player decides what will happen next. So it might be that the player comes into a fight, or it might be that the player just runs away. So I have to put the music in the right mood for every moment, and I have to put a code into the music so that it can switch on any moment without the player recognizing it.
Amazing, man, amazing. So, I mean, with all that been said, have you ever done any Middle Eastern music before? For any game?
Yes, as video games play all around the world, we of course have done Middle Eastern music. And I remember making music for games that play in the desert, for example, where people have to find their way out of it. And what I like most about Middle Eastern music is the great percussion sound. You know, percussion rhythms in the Middle East, they're much more complex than in Europe. So these rhythms, they really have a drive that bring in a great feeling. So this is what I especially like. And also, as you may know, the scales of Middle Eastern music, they're much more complex than the European scales, and this makes the music much more interesting.
Wow.
So, of course, I like doing this music, and I hope a lot that very soon we'll make another game with this feeling.
Oh, wow. So, great stuff, guys. Great stuff. I mean, I really appreciate the information just given there. So, you guys performed live acts so many times. Any future events?
Of course, we started well off in the beginning in 2010 with our live performances on Gamescom. We had like 10 performances at this show. And since then, we ever played on Gamescom again every year and then Gamescom Festival in the streets of the heart of Cologne.
Yeah.
And yeah, we played game music in front of up to 120,000 people.
Wow.
In different countries. And of course, we would like to make game music fans happy anywhere in the world. So, yeah, that's quite possible that we play again on big events like China Joy or Tokyo Game Show,
wow.
G-Star. That would be very interesting as well for us.
Oh, great. So, any events you want to be a part of in the future, near or far?
Yes, there are now the esports scene is growing bigger and bigger, and some of them can even fill stadiums. So when you think about having like an esports final in Wembley Stadium in London, that would be the right place for Sound of Games to perform live on stage, maybe in the pause, like you know it from the Super Bowl. That would be a fantastic opportunity for us to perform live game music.
And I can't wait to see you guys do that. You guys are gonna rock it. So, what games are you working on now?
You know, Bara, in the last about 2.5 years, we've been working on some very big titles.
Okay.
And we are super happy that some of them are already in soft launch right now, which means that they are tested in a couple of countries.
Awesome.
And they will go live on the whole planet pretty soon.
Okay.
So one of them is a big casino game. I cannot mention the name already, but we made like endless music for this one. I think it's about more than 100 minutes of music, and it's hundreds of sound effects and jingles for this one. So I'm looking forward to this. And another great game that we are working on is an adventure game that plays in the 1950s. So we made music in this mood, and it's also lots of music. I think it's about 20 titles that we did for it. I'm really looking forward to this one. And also, there's a big strategy game that we are working on right now. And this is also a very dynamic game with lots of fighting and lots of strategy. And what is special about this one regarding the sound is that we made literally hundreds of monster sounds. So monsters running, monsters fighting, monsters screaming, and we had big recording sessions with masses of people screaming the fighting sounds for the monsters. So this was lots of fun, and you will hear about these games pretty soon.
Oh man, I'm super excited and I can't wait. I'm excited as it is right now. So before we leave, any last words to your lovely audience?
Of course, we are greeting all video game music fans all over the world, especially in Bahrain, and of course you, Bara, and thank you very much for inviting us at VG55. We really love it, and we will support it as much as we can. And yeah, we hope to see us and hear us soon again. Take care, and bye-bye, everyone.
So, Bara, all the best. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Well, bye, guys. Thank you so much for this interview. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. The members, the legendary members of the Sound of Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode of VG55. Don't forget to follow Sound of Games on Instagram and all the social media platforms. I'm Bara Abdallah, and we'll see you in another episode of VG55. Stay strong and game on.